All right, everyone. Hello. My name is Emily Duba. I have been with the company for almost 3 years. It sounds so crazy to say that. I am a double diamond with our team, and I am so pumped to talk to you guys about coming back and just how we have so many different seasons within this business where it just ebbs and flows. There's highs and lows. And these girls that I have with me tonight, they are true testaments of warriors within this industry. They are girls who have gone through the ringer and have continued to show up and have continued to be powerhouses for my team. And I am just so grateful that they are here with us. So I'm not going to take up a lot of your time, and we are going to dive right into them. I'm going to have you start out with just like a 2-minute spiel of who you are, why you're here, that sort of thing. And then we'll dive into your questions. So Lorissa, I'm going to start with you, girlfriend.
Hey guys, my name is Lorissa Thompson. I am a diamond with the company. I've been in for about 2.5 years. I'm a mama. I have 2 stepchildren and a biological child with my husband, and we have lots and lots of life. But I actually joined when I kind of needed to. I needed this way more than I recognized I even did. And so I joined kind of quickly. I was one of those unicorns in a sense, but I actually did make my enroller, who happens to be Miss Emily Aduba, as you know. I made her meet me for coffee so I could just like learn about the products. And it was awesome because I just fell in love with the whole process. And as soon as I was able to gather the money, I jumped right in and got started. And so here we are 2.5 years later. Still doing
I
it.
love it. I love it so much. And I think it's so funny every time you share that story, because it takes me back to when you asked me to join you. And I was like, who is this girl? Like making me get out of my house and like go meet her in person. If you are introverted, drop a 1 in the chat, because that is me. Lorissa is always calling me out of my comfort zone. She's always making me like get together and go do stuff. And I'm like, I like to be home. So, all right, I have a couple of other introverts. So you're like sweating when she was saying meet me in person too. So I love it. So Lorissa, okay, there was a season in your business where your husband was laid off. He had to have shoulder surgery, which is always really difficult for me to say for some reason. And it wasn't just like a typical, he had to go do this and he recovered and he went back to work. Tell us a little bit about that and what happened with you personally and how you had to navigate through this business during that time.
Yeah. So his recovery was supposed to be like 6 to 8 weeks. It ended up being 12 weeks. And so it really did put us in a huge financial kind of bind, and we were dealing with a lot of things, and Christmas was coming up. It was, there's a lot of things on our plate. So I decided I needed to do what I had to do. And so I ended up getting a job outside of the home. And it was an eye-opening experience, to be honest with you, because it really helped me recognize some areas that I was taking, in a sense, for granted, working from home full time. So I quickly recognized that I had to have my output work done first thing in the morning before I even left for work, because I didn't have signal where I was. I didn't have a lot of time to be on my phone. We're supposed to be on our phone. I barely had signal at lunchtime to even get a post up, let alone trying to actually respond to people. So it was a big shift in how I worked and how I tracked things and how I was interacting with people. And I recognized that output was in the morning. I could react in the evening time. I could, I had to really set a schedule for myself, like a strict schedule. And it kind of rolled itself out, because I will say, working from home when you have children, it has its own level of difficulties, and but you can very easily overestimate the time that you have. And if you're anything like me, who tends to be not a willing participant of procrastination, because I don't love it, obviously, but I found myself procrastinating the work when I was home, and I couldn't afford to do that when I was working outside of the home and doing this. I had to do both. And so it really did help me shift my perspective. And when I came back home after my husband was able to go back to work, I came back home full time. To be honest with you, at first I was like, woohoo, I'm back home. I don't have to do all that anymore. But then I really quickly was like, but wait, there's maybe something here to this like intentional work thing, this schedule thing, this tracking things differently thing. And at that moment, we were listening to the High Five Habit, and I quickly followed that with the 5 second rule. That those two books are by Mel Robbins. I absolutely adore them and love them. And they came into my life right when I needed them. It was a season where my business was taking a hit because of the things that were changing. And that season of the year is also kind of, it's just like a big culmination of things. And it was one of those valleys emotionally, and it was those valleys business wise. And those are always really tough seasons to get through. And so the High Five Habit was amazing. It really helped me learn how to give myself love during those times when I really didn't want to get out of bed. I was exhausted. I was tired. I was frustrated. And so that perspective shift, along with the reflection that I had of that season and that time, I took definitely what I learned and applied it to the last couple of months of the year and the beginning of this year. And it's really made a big difference in my business and in just my mental game and like where I'm headed, so.
Yes, I love that so much. I loved watching you, oddly enough, go through that season because it did shift you as, you were still Lorissa, you were still who you were, but it definitely shifted the way that you had to come to play. And I think it was so beneficial for you. And I remember you saying, I have so much more grace for people who work outside of the home now. And I have the opportunity to share with them a schedule that actually fits with being away so much. So I love that so much. Thank you for sharing, Lorissa. I appreciate it. We are going to move on to my girl, Tamarah. Tamarah, give us your 2-minute story and we'll dive into your questions.
I am Tamarah. Yeah. Sorry, I'm a mom, a former teacher. This business kind of found me. I had been watching Emily for like, let's just say a year and a half, maybe year, who knows. I was intrigued by what she was doing. And I finally decided to reach out to her, but I did not say yes right away. I put her off and used all the excuses that everybody else comes up with of why I could not do it. That was probably not 2 minutes, but that's my story.
I love it. I love it. So Tamarah mentioned she gave like 1,000,001 excuses. And that makes me want to ask, who on here today was a unicorn like Lorissa, or you were somebody that was more like Tamarah, or even myself, that when they were either watching or they were interested, but didn't really know if they could do it? Like, where were you on the spectrum? Were you a 1? I signed up right away. Like, I did not hesitate. Or were you like a 10? You were like, I don't even really know how I'm even here now. Like today, I'm not really sure how this even happened, but I'm here. All right. Wow. We had quite a few unicorns. That's so awesome. So awesome. Hillary took a long time. Miranda took forever. Don't get me started on Miranda. I'm just kidding. Love it. Love it. Love it. Thank you guys so much for being active in the chat. Just makes things more interesting. So Tamarah, I have to ask you, because when you first got started in this industry, you told me you were like, I kind of sat on this for a minute. Like, I did not really dive in like I was leading on to believe. And I think that there's a lot of people that do that. So I want to ask you, now that you've been in the business for a while, do you work the same way that you did in the beginning?
Oh, absolutely not. I can say when I joined and I finally said yes to Emily, I still sat there and really didn't do much of anything. And I missed out on the shopping spree. She kept telling me, oh, you can earn your shopping spree. And I said, I don't really care. And then the bonuses, I missed all the bonuses because I sat on everything so long. So when I did hit Ruby, when I did go to Emerald, it didn't really matter because I took so long. But now, before, I didn't have the consistency. I'd show up when I wanted to show up. I didn't think it was important to do self-development. I thought, I do self-development all day long. Why do I actually need to sit down and actually do some self-development? So my mindset was totally off in the beginning. Now, I get up every morning at 5 a.m. so I can have my time to get stuff done, because I do work outside the home also. And we leave at 7. So from 5 to 7, 6:30 is my time where I get up, I do my devotional, I pray, I do my affirmations. I listen to my self-development, and Emily has started a thing. I think she started a couple of weeks ago about giving yourself a high five in the mirror. And I put that into my morning routine also. So I try to get all that stuff done before we leave the house. So then once we leave the house and I'm elsewhere, I can do my messages. I can, follow up with people. I can put up posts. That's just a lot simpler. So my mindset's better. I see how very, very important self-development is. It does help a lot. I think I shared this with Emily, but it might've been like a month or two ago. I was like struggling, and like, I just wasn't getting the customers like what I was, but I wasn't doing self-development. I kind of like slacked off that for like a week, and it really did make a difference. Was there more to that question, Emily? Because I have more stuff written here, but I can't remember what you said.
Well, no, that's like the greatest plug ever for self-development. I love that. And I do think it makes such a huge difference. And I can always tell, like, when just as a unified front, if our team isn't doing self-development, we're all kind of like, man, like we're all in like our heads. And so I love that you shared that, because I think that you're absolutely right that self-development is the most important thing that you should be doing in this business. So we talked a little bit about what has changed, but how do you feel like you personally have grown since starting in this business?
Well, if you would have known me before, I was really introverted, and I just kept myself. I was the mama that stayed home for 17 years, just taking care of her kids. And it was all about them, never took time for myself. And I was just very, very reserved. I have started to come out, have more confidence in myself. I do reels now. I had gotten away from it a little bit, but Lorissa reminded me the other day that I haven't been doing them. So I've been back at it this week doing reels, and not really worrying what people are thinking about it, because that was my problem before. I was always worried what someone might say, what they might think, because the first time I went live with the company when I joined, I had someone that I knew make a comment about me missaying a word. And that was really hard for me, because I really was concerned about what everybody thought. And now I'm just like, I did one today that looked so stupid, but I'm like, I don't even care. I'm going to put it out there. So I have just grown in confidence, and just being able to put myself out there. And I think you can attest to that, Emily.
Oh my gosh, yes. It has been so fun. So fun watching you. And if you knew Tamarah in the beginning, any girl on our team can attest that she has like blossomed. She's so fun. So fun. She just does the things, and she does it confidently now. And it's really fun to watch that. So thank you so much, Tamarah, for sharing your time with us. Did you have something else you wanted to say?
Just want to add one other thing that I see I put here. The accountability really helped me also, because I am very competitive, and I like to make sure that I beat everybody, or at least try to. So, being in some type of accountability group really helps me.
That is very, very true. My team is always like trying to combat against me, and I love it. I love the like little competitions that we have. So love that. All right, girly, you can go ahead and mute. We are going to move on to Miss Emily. Go ahead with your 2-minute story.
Hey guys, I am Emily Bulow. I am a diamond, and I've been in for about a year and a half, I guess. I am a mama of 6. I am a former special ed teacher. I taught for 9 years, and a military wife. So we have a busy, busy household. I joined this company, honestly, more for the community. I really, at that point, didn't need the money. My husband and I both had full-time jobs. We were doing fine. We could go on little trips extra here and there. So it wasn't really financial. It was more like I moved from Kentucky back home to Michigan. And I just had those like coworkers, but not really friends. And I just needed that group of girls to just hang out with. So I had been following Emily for 9 months or so. She kept asking. I was like, Tamarah, every excuse under the sun. No, that's not for me. I don't have time for that, blah, blah, blah. Anyways, so I finally, after still not having really good friends, decided, you know what? They seem like they always have a lot of fun. Why not? So I jumped in and started right away. And I've loved it ever since. And of course, my story has changed a little bit throughout the business that we'll get to in a bit.
Yes, you were another person that was like, let's get together. And I was like, can we bring wine? So we did. And it was great. It was so fun. So obviously you have a large family, but it wasn't, I mean, you had a handful of kids before you got started, but after you got started, there was a surprise. So talk to us a little bit about, you know, what your first goal was when you got in here, when we actually got down to like the nitty gritty and what you want this business to do for you. And then what shifted with your family and like a new goal that you have pressing forward.
Okay. So when I first joined, like I said, I just did it more for the community. Some extra cash was great. I was a special ed teacher. I didn't really at that time plan to leave the classroom anytime soon, but eventually down the road, yes, that was my goal. I want to honestly, way down the road, be a wedding planner. I don't want to have to teach. Like I love teaching. I love the classroom, but my ideal dream is to be a wedding planner. So that was my goal way down the road. But at the time, I had a little baby at home. And so, yes, in the back of my head, yeah, I kind of wanted to stay home with her, but I didn't really think it was going to be ideal. Like it was going to take me a while in my head with a business to be able to stay home. So to get some extra money to pay for daycare at the time, and then eventually stay home with her was going to be great. Well, then a wrench was thrown into our life. And after our 4th baby, Maddie, I was mentally done. She was a hard pregnancy. I was mentally, physically done. So my husband and I decided like, okay, we're done having kids. Sold everything, guys. I mean, everything. Like every ounce of baby clothes, every maternity outfit, everything. 3 months later, we found out we were having a baby. And so that was a big shocker for us. So fast forward a few more weeks, we went in for the ultrasound, and not only was it one, but it was twins. And so we went from a family of 4 to a family of 6. Or I should say 4 kids, 2 6 kids, really, really fast. And you can ask Emily, you can ask a lot of girls on our team. My emotions were off the chain. I was like a hot mess. Like, I don't want these babies. And I can't even believe I say that now, but it was true. I was like, I had a hard time accepting the fact that I was having twins. Like I said, I was mentally done. And then I kept thinking, I'm like, wait, that ruins every plan that I possibly have. Like this business, I can't do it with 6 kids. Like I can't have a teaching job and 6 kids. And then I said, holy crap, guys, this is God's plan all along. Like it almost brings me to tears because God has this plan for me this whole entire time. I just didn't see it. So I joined this business while I was teaching. Thought it was just for the extra money. Little did I know that he had this plan of giving me 2 more kids and this being my like way to stay home. And there's no way, if you guys have more than 2 or 3 kids, there's no way that I could even imagine having a full-time job and raising 6 kids, let alone paying for daycare for 3 of them. So this was God's plan. And it was amazing how it unfolded. And so now my life, obviously with my business, has completely changed. And I do have to do things very, very differently. My house is chaos, like pure chaos, 24/7. And for a while, I can admit that when the babies were born, business went down because I had to give myself grace. And it was like I was in complete survival mode. If I could get a few things done in the business a day, I was happy as heck. But yes, business went down. So now what's business is, of course, going back up. The twins are 5 months old. We are getting a schedule, luckily. But I will say that what I have learned from this experience and how I'm bouncing back is having to be way more organized and intentional. Just like Lorissa, to have a job outside of the home, to have that intentional time is huge. Before I was like, when I can get stuff up, I get it up. But it was not like I'd be the one to like scroll on TikTok for a while and not really be doing what I needed to be doing. Well, now that I only have a limited amount of time with the kids, being home, and I don't have much time to do my business, I do it when I can. I wake up at 5 a.m. every single day. And I work from 5 to 6. I have to wake up my kids to get ready for school at 6. And then I do a little bit during nap time, as long as they're napping, of course, on the same schedule, which is not always the same. So I do that. And then at night, I put in a half hour after all my kids are in bed. But then I have learned that after that half hour, it is what it is. And I get as much as I can done because I'm very intentional about my time. But then I have to commit myself to my husband as well. And this is so important. If anybody has kids, you guys understand this, that if you don't give your husband time, well, they're not going to be very happy with the business. And we had talked about that because business was falling a little behind because of the twins and because of the time. My husband and I had to say, like, okay, if you want to continue doing this business and you want it to work and you want your dreams to happen, I'm fine with it and I will completely support you, but I need your time too. And I had to respect that. So we made a deal that half hour at night and then that's it. So what I get done in a half hour, great. And then it's his time. And that's why I get up at 5 o'clock in the morning and be sleeping. So I get more time done down there. Another thing that I learned is don't feel selfish about chasing your dreams. Guys, when I had the twins, I was like, well, I guess my business is over. Like, I don't have time to do this. I don't have time for anything for myself. That's so not true. Please, please don't give up on your dreams just because you have kids. I had to pretty much put that in my brain. But don't feel selfish at all for giving yourself time. You have your dreams are super, super important. And I've definitely seen that. Ask for support when you have this business and you have multiple kids. I've learned that very, very quickly. I have complained a little bit about that to my team, that I don't feel like I'm supported all the time. And so asking for support is huge, and giving yourself grace. That is my main thing that I have in this experience with the twins. I've had to give myself a lot of grace, but I am back at it. I am super, super excited to see what 2022 is going to bring for me and for our team. And that's life for me.
I love it. You guys, if you felt like Emily was just like talking directly into your soul, like drop some zeros in the chat, because when you were talking about like go after your dream, like just do the things, like, yes, prioritize, but do it. Don't give up on your dream. I was like, this is hitting different. This is hitting different. So I appreciate that so much. I appreciate all of you girls for sharing your time and your energy with us. I do want to close out in prayer. So let's pray. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you so much for this time that we are able to spend together. We thank you that you bring women and men into this industry to help fill our cups up, God. And we just thank you so much for the community that surrounds us and for the support system that we have. And God, I pray that these people would go out in boldness and that they would go out confidently, knowing that maybe they're nervous about where they're at in their businesses right now. But God, you have in fact put them here at a time such as this, and you are going to work things out for good. And I pray, God, full-heartedly that they would know that they can trust you and that you have their back. So we thank you so much, God, for this time. We thank you for the energy that you put into us and put into our businesses. And we pray that the work of our hands would be blessed. Amen. Thank you all so much for hopping on. This was fun. We'll see y'all soon.